Alright, guys, let's talk about the semen retention and expanding consciousness. So, when you're on this journey, this is a warrior's journey. This is a journey, like, if you're on this journey, I'll tell you what, you're going to come across a lot of challenges, okay? You're going to come across a lot of challenges. So, last year, what happened was that I went to the dentist, okay? I go to the dentist and I asked the dentist a very critical question. And I asked him, I'm like, are the teeth connected to the mind, right? And I was very oblivious at that time. I was still doing retention at that time, but there's a difference when you're retaining for like 30 days, 90 days, and when you retain for like 8 months, 9 months. There's a huge difference. There's like a day and night type of difference, to be very honest with you. So I asked this doctor, right? I'm like, okay, so like, is the brain connected to the teeth? And this guy tells me, he's like, no. This guy tells me, no, the brain is not connected to your teeth. And me, at that time, just being very naive and haven't done my research, I trusted the guy, right? I allowed him to take a process where he injected something to numb my face, right? Once that happened, I'm like right that same day, I'm like, I feel like my brain eroded. I really feel like my brain eroded. I feel like my capability of critical thinking vanished right when that happened to me. Okay, right when that happened to me. And I couldn't think properly, like, no matter what I did. Like, I tried doing a lot of different things. But it didn't work. It just wasn't working. So one day, and at that time, I was like, before that time, I was fasting, I was eating less, and I was a polemic. I used to talk to people on an app called Clubhouse, and I used to get into controversial debates, and I was very good at it. I was very good with my linguistics. I still am, right? And I was very good with getting my point across. But as soon as I got that injection, I felt very weird. I felt very, very weird, okay? So now what happened was, like, I'm going to take SR very seriously, because I always knew something about retaining your energy, retaining your seed. Like, God opens a lot of doors for you. Like, automatically you start to see a huge shift, right? So now I started retaining, okay? I started retaining, and what ends up happening is I literally started feeling my mind like expanding, and while it was expanding, it was hurting too. So I'm like, why is my mind hurting, right? So I firmly believe you can tell a person a truth, and this might have happened to you so many times, where you try to convince your family or your friends of one truth, and while you're trying to do that, you're giving them the truth, but your energy and their energy are at two different places. Their caliber to retain what you're saying and to interpret and to decode what you're saying is very low for the vast majority of people. So when you tell people about the water that you drink, that it has 80,000 different type of unregulated chemicals in it that go through your system, and water is very powerful, right? The moon pulls out onto your water weight. Okay, so if your water is not clear within your body, if there's heavy metals, toxins, fluoride, chloride, right, you're automatically going to start feeling very dull. So what ended up happening when I was on SR, right? SR within itself expanded my consciousness, but what happened when I was on SR, I started taking things seriously. Like, I wasn't joking around anymore. Before, I was drinking bottled water which was in plastic bottles, right? Plastic has a lot of phthalates in it. Okay, so That's one of the biggest reasons why men are losing so much testosterone. Men are like, the testosterone levels are plummeting in men, right? I'm drinking like plastic bottled water, and this whole time I knew it was wrong for me, but my caliber, see what I'm talking about? My caliber was low. My caliber to retain the truth was low, right? So, and a lot of folks know that like bottled water is not the best water for you, right? And your body is made up of like 70 to 80% of it is water. So why not invest in your water, invest in yourself, right? So I started changing my water. I started eating more cleaner. Okay. I'm eating right now, I'm eating grass-fed meat. Okay. I'm having honey, raw honey with that. And I'm going to the gym, and I feel pretty great. I feel great. So what ended up happening was that I started changing my habits. And again, my caliber elevated. My thinking process elevated. My level of retaining truth elevated to a whole nother level. So now I'm retaining, right? I'm on retention. I'm changing my water. I was drinking coffee from outside. Okay, I stopped drinking coffee from out. I got my own machine. Okay. I kid you not. I'm starting to now feel much better with my thinking processes. I'm starting to feel much better with my psyche. I'm starting to feel much better with how I make critical analyzation of situations, of certain circumstances, of certain decisions that I have to make, with certain people that I want to see or I don't want to see in my life, right? I'm starting to think very, very clearly. Okay, that's what's happening. And I wake up around 4:30 to 5 a.m. every morning. Actually, even earlier maybe. Almost every morning. Other than Sunday, I wake up very, very early for most days. And it's changed a lot of my life. It's changed my life. You will face a lot of challenges in this journey. That's the truth. I would love to sugarcoat it and like be like, oh, like you're gonna be so good, bro. Like on this journey, there was a time where my car broke down, and like my car broke down on the highway when I was on this journey, like when I was crossing 5, because you get tested, bro. Like on this journey, you get tested a lot, right? Like God tests his strongest soldiers, his strongest warriors, like at the front line, front battle. Those are the people that he tests. So I got tested with that, you know what I mean? And thank God. Like, I'm grateful. I'm in gratitude. I feel like when you retention within itself helps a lot, because remember, you have 12 cranial nerves in your mind, right? You have 12 months, right? There's a significant 12 is a very significant number. Once you start retaining, you start opening these 12 cranial nerves. You start to open them, and you start to think more clearly. You don't just think surface level. A lot of folks just think surface level. A lot of people just think like, oh, like everything is just a conspiracy. Most things are just a conspiracy. Most things are not most things are actually like things that are happening around the world right now. You've got to be very careful. And on retention, you start to really make critical analysis. You start to analyze things for what they are. That's what ends up happening, right? That's what ends up happening. That's what I've learned on my journey. I've learned to actually raise my caliber and start to not just think for myself, but think for my whole family, right? A lot of things, like, and this is a type of journey, like my whole perspective is that don't just release to release. Don't ever try to just do that, because especially if you're single and you're just trying to release for pleasure, it's gonna bite you, man. It's gonna bite you. It's not something. It's detrimental to you. It's not the best thing to do. It's really not. And if you're able to actually make this energy up, go your vertebrae, make your energy go all the way up to your mind, your body, right? Your solar plexus, right? You start to clean your central nervous system. You start to clean your central nervous system. You start to clean your thinking. You start to really, and that's what's lacking right now, a lack of critical thinking. Anyways, that's about it right now for SR and consciousness. I can tell you one thing, that if you go on SR for 6 months to at least 1 year, I would say, like, okay, if I'm gonna be very honest, man, like, a lot of folks are saying a lot of folks, and this is why I don't follow the majority. I follow the minority of people, the very small minority, and then I lead in that section. I've noticed, like, a lot of folks are saying 60 days, 30 days. Think about it like this. How many of us, ever since we hit puberty, right, 9 to 13, whenever, right, even 7, some people, how many of us got indoctrinated into watching, like, adult entertainment and thought that was normal and did that our whole lives? You think you do something your whole life and, like, in just 60 to 90 days you're going to fully recover from all the filth? I don't think so. I actually don't think so. Even when you go to the gym, like, a lot of these guys are trying to sell you shortcuts. 2 months, 1 month, 30 days, 60 days, 9 days. No, doesn't work. Because even when you go to the gym, you got to have, like, a 1 year to 18 month goal to build muscle in order for you to actually increase your metabolism, to make your metabolism faster. Oh my God, it's a huge accident on the highway. Shukr Allah. That's what ends up happening. I'm not talking about the accident. I'm talking about right now, about, like, your SR, right? You just gotta, and this is, like, I'm not trying to give advice, but, like, it's just true. This is what I did. I thought, like, 90 days was enough. I did 90 days. I think I did it like 2 or 3 times. I think, right? I did 4 months. I did 3 months, and it wasn't like, it was good, but not to the point where I'm at now. Now I felt a whole different vibration. Like, now the expansion that I've had this year has been tremendously great. It has just been tremendously great. And this is why I say, like, I think 9 months to 1 year, not even 9 months to 1 year minimum. I really do feel like that. I really do feel like if you can do 9 months to 1 year, that's something that should just be minimum and required to detox from all the years of programming and annihilating the mind, annihilating the psyche, annihilating, like, the dopamine sector of your mind, and just all of that. That being said, guys, if you like the video, that's amazing. If you don't, tell me why you don't. Okay, subscribe to my channel, and have a wonderful day.